to develop myself. Why don't you sell it? It's for both men and women. Try and sell them things. Down to my mum. We're reading GQ magazine, and I've always been a frustrated actor. I'm not satisfied. Trust. Number one. I lost my job.
Кожна господиня має власний особливий секрет приготування смачних страв. Мій особистий секрет – це олія Данкен. Вміст олеїнової кислоти в олії Данкен вищий за оливкову. Корисні й унікальні споживчі властивості олії допомагають зберегти первинний смак усіх інгредієнтів моїх страв. А мої страви – це справжні сімейні цінності, що передаються від матері до доньки, від дочки до онуки та до праонуки. Українська високоолеїнова олія Данкен.
Це во!
Hello everybody, Chini Life channel and me, Irene Lentiggini, we are greeting you. And today in our virtual studio we have a fantastic man, publisher with a great experience, 25 actually years experience, who moved 7 years ago to south of France and took all the best from French Riviera, and now he's a founder of online academy in New York, all about lifestyle. James Williams Phillips. Hello, James.
Hello. Good to meet you again, and hello to everybody else.
How are you? How is London? How is Great Britain?
Wet. And grey. It's not like the Riviera, that's for sure.
Today we have an astrology-based interview. It's my author concept that I put into my program, Stars About Stars. Thank you that today you are with us. And I hope this interview could be interesting, first of all, for you, because it's very individual. I created all my questions to you on the base of your individual birth chart reading.
It's very accurate. I had to go back and try and remember what happened at the dates that you said, and it's very near. Certain things did happen near to or on those dates. So yes, very impressive.
So James, you were born 12th of December 1973. Is it correct?
Yes.
Hey, here we are. Your basic birth number is 12 for both a date and month, which means an eternal student. What do you like to study, and which discipline you have not studied yet?
As for reading, I like to read about film stars in the past, like biographies, biographies about Roger Moore and David Niven, people like that, people who've got interesting stories and interesting lives to learn from, but also how to develop myself within the business world. I'm not particularly good at sales, and that's my next sort of learning goal, I think. I'm always trying to sell things, but I've never had any sort of formal training in it. So that's the next thing.
I think actually what we are doing, we are selling lifestyle. That's what you do. Just people want to be a part of your life.
Yeah.
When we see your pictures, I'm sorry, but it's very attractive.
You wouldn't want to see them now because it's just grey skies and rain. But normally, yeah, I guess sometimes it sells itself. But I mean, that's the whole idea of my academy, which we'll talk about a little later.
Hopefully. Your birth year corresponds to the energy of boundaries extension. Which international project do you have? So now is the high time actually to speak about the academy. I want to listen to it a lot.
A friend of mine called Julia in Monaco, she said, James, you live this lifestyle. Why don't you sell it? Sell it to people, because people want to live the life that you're leading. And I'd never really thought about it before. And so over the last year, I've developed my academy, JWP Academy, and I filmed an online course called Success Accelerator, which helps to launch people's dreams into a reality.
Your karmic task is to work on the qualities of Sagittarius that is necessary to find your own idea and pass it to as much people as possible. What are you actually doing now? Do you often take on a role of a mentor for people? and tell us more about your future projects.
I mean, my future projects are kind of developing all the time. I've just developed a fashion brand of my own, which is it's in its early stages, but I'm going to be launching that properly in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Is it only for men and for women as well?
It's for both men and women.
Yes.
But yes, it's super complicated and very time consuming launching a fashion label.
Card is showing the aspect of development restriction. Do you face a lot of restrictions in your life to get a goal?
I do at the moment because I'm locked indoors. But yeah, mainly just because I travel so much ordinarily. I guess I'm only limited to where I can stay, the amount of times opportunities to meet people and things like that. But at the moment, the biggest restriction is not being able to travel at all, and not being able to meet people face to face and try and sell them things.
I can see your childhood was largely influenced by the feminine spirit. Who contributed to your uprising?
Down to my mum, really. We're very alike, and yeah, I think whilst I was close to my dad, my mum's nature is mine. So I think I get that from her.
From whom did you get passion to clothes, to style?
My 2 great aunts, they were both in the fashion trade, and they both owned their own fashion boutiques. So they were in the fashion industry all their lives. So I think that came from there. And I went to an all-boys private school, and we had to wear suit and tie and look immaculate all the time. And at the age of sort of 14, me and my friends were reading GQ magazine, and some boys in the school were tailoring their own blazers, so they looked sort of more designer. So yeah, I think it was instilled in my mind from then.
James, is there any extraordinary talent that nobody knows about you?
I think it's acting.
Wow.
I've always been a frustrated actor, and I went to New York a year ago, and my friend Larry Check, he's an actor and a film producer, and I met him for a drink, and he had a surprise, and we just got off the plane, and he said, "You're going to need this tequila shot." So we went to a bar and we had a couple of tequilas in New York, and he took us to an improvisation acting school. Bear in mind, an hour previously I just got off the plane, and suddenly I was thrust into this world where I had to do improv acting. But it was an amazing experience, and everybody said that I was a complete natural at it. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I'd like to do more of that.
Mars gives you no love for routine and wish to work to your maximum point, actually in gym as well. What is the secret of your success, and how to master the art of discipline that you own?
I like routine up to a certain point, only to make me get up in the morning. Until about 9 o'clock I like routine, but then for the rest of the day I kind of like do everything freestyle, because the days are so unpredictable. You've got to adapt. As far as taking everything to the max, I literally do. If I don't do anything full on and to the maximum, I'm not satisfied. It's like if I find a song that I like, I listen to it on a loop until I'm completely sick of it. A lot of people judge success by the amount of money you've got in the bank, but I don't see it that way at all, because success is the amount of friends you have, how well you're accepted in social circles, and all of those kind of things, as well as earning money, of course. But just being successful doesn't mean to say that you're a millionaire, because it doesn't.
Your Mercury gives you a strong imagination and fantastic intuition. Can you give an example of flashes of that intuition in your life or enlightenment?
I used to worry myself sick about things and what people thought of me, and it got to a stage where I had a couple of issues and I was worrying about them until it literally made me sick. And then I learned how to deal with worry, and dealing with worry is one of the things that I cover in my academy, because it's one of the biggest barriers to success that there is. And the enlightening moment was knowing how to deal with that.
Your Venice tolerates no limits or boundaries in partnerships. What are the most important thing for you in relationships?
Trust, number one. Trust and honesty, whether that's in business or personal relationships.
The period of 2003-2004, Pluto gives leadership qualities and some health issues probably for you or to somebody in your surrounding, close surrounding. Were there any situations where your willpower helped you to overcome any kind of difficulties?
Yeah, looking back, I was trying to remember, and I think it was around about that time I had a serious car accident, which at the time I had a job in London, and I lost my job through it because I spent so much time in hospital through it, and I had to have the willpower to see me through, and I spent 2 weeks in hospital. And
sometimes when I see that astrology really corresponds to reality, not all answers make me happy. So I'm sorry for this situation, but I'm very happy that here you are, more than sporting, more than active, and more than healthy.
Thank you very much.
So 2008, 2009, Uranus provokes unexpected big changes. What gives you freedom and what happened that years?
I was trying to think back. I was out of work at that moment in time. That's before I was an entrepreneur, and I didn't have to worry so much about being employed by somebody else. And I think it was being in and out of work at that time were the unexpected changes for me. I haven't been arrested by the police. I think that was probably a romantic complication. I'll make a quick decision. I would never cut people off. I work 7 days a week. You only have one life, so why waste it? I hated university. Tool that you can use is yourself. People by people. Or maybe Australia.
Кожна господиня має власний особливий секрет приготування смачних страв. Мій особистий секрет – це олія Данкен. Вміст олеїнової кислоти в олії Данкен вищий за оливкову. Корисні й унікальні споживчі властивості олії допомагають зберегти первинний смак усіх інгредієнтів моїх страв. А мої страви – це справжні сімейні цінності, що передаються від матері до доньки, від дочки до онуки та до праонуки. Українська високоолеїнова олія Данкен.
Це во!
2012. Confrontation maybe or with family or some authorities.
Yeah.
How do you control emotion state and negative feelings?
Well, I remembered back, and I haven't been arrested by the police.
Wow.
or the authorities. So I can strike that one off. In 2011, my father passed away suddenly. Whilst there wasn't any confrontation, I think that might have gone back to that sort of period.
Any kind of upset mood for all the family, definitely, when everybody goes to his private world.
There's a lot of period of adjustment then. Yeah. So, and that, funnily enough, was when I started to become an entrepreneur, and that gave me the fire inside to be successful.
Autumn of the same year, 2012, financial and romantic complications. Does love help or obstruct professional activity? What do you think?
Very, very close to the autumn. I think I finished with the girlfriend I was seeing at the time. So I think that was probably a romantic complication.
They are always happen in our life. It's part of process.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I can only attribute that date to that period, I think.
So astrology works.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised actually.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
It does. The year of 2017. Difficulties in relationship with an important woman. Maybe it was not your partner, or maybe loss of friend or family member. Is it difficult for you to break up with somebody? And are you a quick maker for decisions?
Yeah, I believe in 2017, that was when my grandmother passed away. So that rings true about an important woman. But making decisions, I'm very, very quick at making decisions because I get a gut feeling. Sometimes it's not always the right decision, but I'll make a quick decision and stick to it.
It's okay. It's life.
Yeah.
So 2017, 2018, there is the risks of accident or impulsive decisions. Aspect of change of place of living. Does it relate to you?
Yeah, I had a magazine. I started a magazine called Luxury Life International. And I brought on board a business partner. I won't talk about it too much, but it didn't end well. And I think that's probably relating to that period.
So we continue. The period of 2019-2020. Romantic failure is possible. What is the major disappointed in a partner for you? You told me the most biggest value is trust. But what can you disappoint you that you can't even after maybe be friends?
Yes, a romantic failure did happen then. So it's accurate again once more. But I'm always keen to remain friends with people I've been close to. I would never cut people off.
But what is rewarding use of healing solitude for you?
I'm one of those. I mean, men are very. They'll run away and hide a lot of the time, and they'll be grumpy, and they'll just want to be on their own. And sometimes I'm like that. And some periods of solitude, it helps. It's a bit like a wounded bear running away to the woods to lick his wounds, but from that you can develop new ideas and spring back. So yeah,
Be more focused on your creativity and work.
yeah, I'm a complete workaholic. I work 7 days a week and I don't really stop. And people ask me what my hobbies are, and my hobbies work, which is quite sad.
Here I understand you 100% because I'm dependent for work as well. Nice. Let's go a little bit more into your regression. Age of 14, there is help from influential people. Out of the great world figures, whom would you like to turn to ask for advice? And who was your, maybe, I don't know, image, somebody like symbol of power for you in your childhood?
As I was in my late teens, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
But with your shoulders, you look completely like him. I think you can be.
I just admired him so much because he'd come from nowhere and achieved a lot, and he's very positive, and he doesn't stop until he achieves what he's achieving, and he stays hungry, and climbing higher and achieving is his whole philosophy. And you only have one life, so why waste it?
Age of 16, there is a connection between conscious and subconscious world. How did your lifestyle mentorship come to your life? Did it come from early age?
Not really. No, I don't think so. I think I was just sort of like any teenager. I just wanted to sort of go home and play computer games and watch TV, really. But I think as I got older, I wanted more. I was brought up on 80s TV which was all filmed in California, like the A-Team, Knight Rider, shows like that. And California was always this paradise that no one could ever get to. And that was always my dream from about 15 or 16 to go over there. But as far as teaching people and making it an inclusive sort of dream for others as well as me, that only sort of materialized when I started meeting Mike in New York and learning about how to educate others and involve them in what I'm doing.
But were you involved into psychology by that time? Did you start to feel people in your early age, or it came through your life experience?
I think it came through my life experience. Yeah, meeting more people and sort of getting out there and looking at life in a different way.
At the age of 21, Mercury gives you a strong push. How it's connected with your education? Because Mercury, it's a planet of trade, planet of communication and papers.
I mean, I went to university when I was 21, which I didn't like. I hated university.
But what was your dream by that time? What did you want to learn?
At that time, I was studying to be a graphic designer because I'm good at art, painting and drawing. And I just thought I was going to end up drawing birthday cards and painting paintings and all that kind of stuff. But I soon realized there wasn't really any money to be had out of it. And then I started investigating graphic design, and that's when, I'll show my age, but that's when computers started to really be developed. And yeah, so that was then, I think.
Have you ever thought about split to change your profession?
Yeah, I mean, I followed the sort of creative route for about 17 years after university, and then I changed my profession into financial services in the City of London. I still remain in marketing, but I'm a specialist in regulation and marketing law. So that's my most recent background until I became an entrepreneur.
But if you had no limits by the law, what would be the most powerful marketing instrument that you could use to develop brand?
The most powerful tool that you can use is yourself and your face and your personality and your life, because you can invest money in adverts in magazines, in SEO, videos, anything you like, but at the end of the day, you're the person behind the brand. People have got to buy you before they're going to buy anything from you. And just imagine that you're going into a car showroom to buy a car. You're not really sure which one to buy, but if the salesperson is a really nice person to get along with, you'll buy into them and they'll talk you into buying the car that they want you to have. So people buy people, and the most important tool is you.
Thank you so much. Now I feel like I didn't lose my money. I invested a lot. Now I feel big, because I did my studies during 10 years, never stopped. And I really invested a lot in my education. Actually, my parents did. So we continue. At the age of 13, there was a change of domicile or some worries. If you could choose only one country in the world for reincarnation, which country would you choose for the next life? Where you have to live without changing the place?
Maybe Spain or France. Well, I haven't actually thought about that. So, or maybe Australia.
Wow, Australia. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Never been. My dream.
It's quite isolated, but I'd like to go again. But everything there wants to eat you.
No London anymore?
No, I wouldn't want to live in London. London's good for a night out or to see some history. But if you want to see sparkly ocean, have a lifestyle where you eat outside and just enjoy life more, somewhere in the sun with some palm trees.
For me, London, it's a huge culture and a lot of class, unchangeable.
London's good to go in and to go out again. A bit like Monaco.
Yeah, that's nice combination. Years 2020, 21. We come to nowadays, and January to of this year, there is a risk of a lot of financial expensive, maybe for your magazine. What was the most unreasonable spending money in your life when you bought something and said, "Oh my God," what? But it made you happy.
It's spending money on clothing stock for my clothing lines. I'm surrounded by it here. I'm just surrounded by all these t-shirts and stuff.
Oh wow! What is written over there?
So there's loads of it. In general, it's all the money I've spent on cars, I think.
Yeah, that's a nice passion, especially for a man.
Yeah, I've had a Ferrari, a McLaren, an Audi R8, a Range Rover Sport, and I'm thinking if I'd saved all of that money, I'd be and invested it in some property, I might be a better off person. But the way to look at it is that they were a marketing tool for me, and I had a lot of enjoyment out of it. Luxury blog. You have to think about your actions and the day after. I guess one of my heroes, most women are usually right. I'm 24.
What?
People's negativity. Philip Klein. Be anybody you want to be.
Кожна господиня має власний особливий секрет приготування смачних страв. Мій особистий секрет – це олія Данкен. Вміст олеїнової кислоти в олії Данкен вищий за оливкову. Корисні й унікальні споживчі властивості олії допомагають зберегти первинний смак усіх інгредієнтів моїх страв. А мої страви – це справжні сімейні цінності, що передаються від матері до доньки, від дочки до онуки та до праонуки. Українська високоолеїнова олія Данкен.
Це во!
So, age of 32. Again, financial investment from your side. And 35, turn in your career. What is your biggest career kick? And what are your first money?
It was creating my first luxury blog. I wanted to do something outside of my then day job, and I met a friend who had a blog of his own, and it gave him a lifestyle, it gave him income, and it made him a well-known figure. So I went home and created my own, and that's what gave me the platform to be the person I am today.
But what happened by the age 32 and 35? Was it any kick in your life, something like life change or whatever?
35 is when my dad passed away, and that moment and starting my journey as an entrepreneur, that was the biggest sort of tumultuous change that happened in my life. Absolutely.
And the age of 37, the period of conflicts. How do you control your emotions? And should we at all control our emotions?
It's difficult to control them sometimes. You have to think about your actions and the day after. I shy away from confrontation. I hate confrontation in any form because it's negative and upsetting. I'd rather get angry myself and bottle it up and not let myself explode. If I do need to explode, I'll just go into a quiet room and shout at myself.
James, you have a lot of magazines, and of course you're doing a lot of interviews with your team. If you had an opportunity, just 1 second, you meet the key personality, key figure for you, you want to interview, with which emotion you can pull out from the soul of that person, and who is that person?
I'd like to have interviewed Roger Moore. He's one of my heroes, because I identify with him a lot. and also Cary Grant and David Niven. Those sort of characters swanning around on the French Riviera in the golden age of Hollywood. I actually found out from them if they were happy in their lives doing that, and if they wanted to actually achieve something more wholesome than just being a movie star.
Age of 38, there might have been some harm from either yourself or somebody else in your surrounding. Is a man his worst enemy? What do you think?
He can be, yeah. A man can be his worst enemy because he doesn't like to listen, because he always thinks he knows best. I always think I know best. But then I soon came to realise several years ago that women are always right. Unless they're completely psychotic, most women are usually right. And it always pays to listen to a woman, even when you think you're right, you're not always right.
And if to forget about feminine part and masculine part, because we all have both parts, what do you think? Can we be enemies for ourselves? Can we destroy ourselves? Or somebody else can do it better than us?
Somebody else can do it up to a point because they can really affect your life. They can destroy it to a point, but at the end of the day, you're the one responsible for your own welfare. You can destroy yourself, absolutely. A friend of mine this week committed suicide.
I'm so sorry.
I haven't seen her for a few years, but that's the ultimate sort of thing that happens when you can get into a really low point in your life and you can destroy yourself.
Age of 40, your moon provokes many emotions. What gives you the biggest emotional tension?
Did you say I'm 40? I'm 24.
What? No, you're 18. I'm not sure even if you were able to drink tequila, actually. Who sold it to you?
Yeah, it was completely illegal.
I would never sell it to you, believe me, James.
Oh, thank you. I like you even more now. I had to show some ID. Can you repeat the question? I've forgotten it.
Definitely. Age of 40, your moon provokes a lot of emotions. What does it give to you the most emotional tension?
Negativity from others.
Negative.
Yeah. Because you can deal with worry and you can deal with stress up to a point. You can deal with bills and everyday things. But the thing that can bring you down more than anything is people's negativity. It's just as easy to say a positive word as it is to say a negative one. And social media is dreadful for it because you can post a picture of yourself like I do sometimes in Monaco, and some of the people on my friends list will make the most horrible comments purely out of jealousy.
Wow.
They get a few seconds of gratification because they think they're being funny, but their comment lives in your brain for weeks. And knowing how to overcome that.
Age of 42, the sun gives you a lot of active advancement. What is your dream project? And if there are any words that you would love to say to our audience as a closing word.
My project at that period of time was my magazine. I went to Lake Geneva and I stayed in a hotel next to the lake, and I thought, how can I generate some money and develop what I'm doing? And I had this long history in magazine publishing, so I thought, I know, I'll turn my blog into a magazine. And I just ordered a big gin and tonic from the hotel bar, opened my laptop and created the front page. And that's how that started. Yeah, that was covering that period, yeah.
Oh, I hope I got some stars from you today for astrology reading. So, and what is your dream project? Let's say no restrictions, no COVID, no pandemic. You can fly, you can do whatever you want. You can create any kind of team on the planet. what is your dream project, even if it's unreal?
You know, right now I admire Philip Klein for what he's achieving in life. I mean, his brand is, you know, it's not for everybody. I'm not into diamante skulls or anything like that. His drive and ambition, what he surrounds himself with, and how he does it, I admire him for that. So if I could create any project, I would be my own version of Philip Klein.
James, and I really would love you to ask few inspirational words for our audience.
You can be anybody you want to be in life. You can create anything that you want to create in life. You just need to get over the fear. One of the biggest fears is writing it down, because writing it down means that your dreams have left your head and you are committing yourself to it. And then you'll start to show it off to people, and everybody will know what your choices are. So my advice is, if you want to achieve anything in life, just buy a nice notebook and start writing your ideas down, because then you're committed.
Thank you so much, James. As promised, to every star guest, to every celebrity that visited my virtual studio, Stars About Stars, I always give the short version of the horoscope that I created for you on the base of what I recreated my questions to you. And as well, I choose mineral that corresponds in the best way to your date of birth. In your case, it's garnet. That is very influential for all love stories, for passions, for your inspiration, for your creativity, and makes your pressure go up as well. So be very attentive if you decide to use this mineral, because it brings a lot of luck, but from the same time, it's very intense mineral. So thank you so much, and I would love to thank you for your time, for your energy, for your light that came from Great Britain here in America, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, now it's my mistake because I always forget it, but we have a rule that with the name past the SAS, and actually one celebrity has to invite another celebrity. So James, what is your guest for my next show?
Well, I nominate one of my business partners and friends, Thierry Marquette, and he's got a wicked sense of humour, which I'm sure you'll explore, and he's super well connected in British high society. So I nominate Thierry.
Sending you all the best with faith and love, Irene Lentiggini. Goodbye.
Hi.